Welcome back to KXAN News at noon. People in Austin and really all across the country are saying goodbye to a hero today. America's oldest man and World War II veteran Richard Overton died yesterday at the age of 112. Now, he was an icon for people who knew of him, a beloved friend for the people who knew him best. Two of those people are sitting with me right now. They are joining us to talk about the man they love so much. We have Mr. Overton Jr. He is Richard's cousin, and Alan Bergeron is the Military Veterans Program Administrator for the city of Austin. So I just said, Mr. Overton, 112 years old, but it seemed like he always stayed young at heart, always had a smile on his face, always cracking jokes, that kind of thing. Alan, I know for you, he was a father figure, really.
Yes.
What made him so special?
Well, I first met him, of course, through Honor Flight, and he was 106, and I got a call from his church at the time, and they said, yeah, we have a 106-year-old that lives in East Austin, and I thought I knew all the veterans in Austin, and I said, there's no way. And so I got the address, and I literally drove to his house, and he was sitting on his porch with his hat on, with a cigar in hand, and it was that point where we became close, really close. And I asked him if he wanted to go to Washington, D.C., and he said, what am I going to do over there, you know? And so fast forward a couple months, we took him on his first flight, you know, at 106. And, you know, I started working with the VA and a lot of different agencies to help him with everything he needed. The VA did a really wonderful job with everything that he needed, to include all the community partners. But I think what changed everything for us and for him was when I got a phone call from Washington, D.C. It was a 202 area code, and I said, okay, who's this? And it was the Office of the President of the United States.
Wow.
We would like to request Mr. Overton to be the guest of the President for Veterans Day. I said, oh, okay. And I was at Papados, of all places, you know, and I thought it was a prank call at first, but we took him to meet the President.
Amazing.
You know, and Mr. Overton gave him a couple of cigars from Babalu's and a little contraband there. But it's hard not to love that guy. You know, he has become obviously an icon for our city, our state, and our country. But for me, he is a father figure, a grandfather figure, a spiritual life mentor, if you will. I've said it many times, if everyone practiced the religion of Mr. Overton, the religion of kindness and love and respect, I think the world would be a better place. He loved everyone. He didn't see color. He didn't see political differences. He truly loved his country. He proudly served in the Army during World War II. You know, he went in at the age of 37, so much more mature young soldier. But he, I don't know, I mean, he says it's all God's plan, right? So I believe that as well, that he and I intersected lives at one point for a purpose. And, you know, it's hard. You know, we were with him last night, you know. He passed at 4:17 yesterday afternoon, and it was hard. It was really hard.
You were highlighting, you know, he enlisted right after Pearl Harbor, you know, in his mid-30s.
Correct. And
today on the morning show, we were kind of highlighting all of these historic moments that his life took him through. And 90% of his life, he wasn't famous. Well, how do you think he was kind of taking that all in as all the attention kind of came his way?
I think Richard really didn't take any of that in. He just kept being himself.
Went with it.
And we're the ones that have blown him up. And as far as Richard was concerned, he's still Richard. And he was Richard to the end. And he had always shown his love to all and loved everybody and was a giving person and was a funny person. But just being around him, I don't think any of that changed him. I think he, as I've known him, he's always been the same old Richard. And we're the ones that are in awe of how he's been. And so with all of that, that's why he's so well known. We're the ones that have blown him up, not himself. And he just loved folks. And as Alan just said, if we had a religion that Richard lives by, which is loving all and caring all, and anyone that was hurting, he'd be concerned about it.
You said he loved all. Everybody loved him too. He was spreading all kind of love and kindness all around. Now you were saying he had an idea of what he wants to do for his house that he lived in for 72 years on Richard Overton Avenue. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Richard, in some of his final requests that he shared with Martin and I, that he said he'd like for his house to be there to be seen by all the people that have given so he could stay in his house, you know, and so he said, I want my house to be like a museum for everybody to come see, all the people from around the world who have given so he could stay at his house to come see. And we're going to do everything we can to honor his request and making this house like a museum. There's so much in his house that anyone comes to see, they just, like, they ask so many questions about, what's this, what's this? It's so many pictures, amazing pictures, and he's received so many honors and everything. It's like a museum as it is. So just coming there, I remember when the mayor sat with him on the porch, Richard, no, you got to come in, you got to come in. The mayor said, Richard said, no, I want you to see this. So he went, the mayor took him in, I mean, Richard took the mayor in and showed him his home and all of the stuff there. So Richard would like everyone who's been given to him to see all of this.
Share that back with his community, absolutely. So I know January 12th is a day that we're looking at for services at Shoreline Church. Now, I know there will most likely be something private for family and friends, but anything going on for the public to be able to go and pay respect for Mr. Overton that you guys are considering?
Well, for sure. The funeral is open to the public, Saturday, January 12th, 11 a.m. at Shoreline. We're still finalizing all details for the burial at the Texas State Cemetery, just a couple of blocks from his house. I think most of the details will be finalized here in the next couple of days, but so far it is open to the public, both the funeral on the 12th and the burial as well.
Okay. If you guys, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but if you could describe Mr. Overton. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, so talking to you kind of, brings it all into perspective, both of you. How would you describe him in one word?
If I could mix funny and loving together, I'd say those two.
Yeah, those two mixed into one. Richard Overton, maybe that's a new word right there.
Yeah. I guess for me it would be hero. Yeah. He's on and off duty, whether it's you talking about his military service or just him sitting on the front porch. He's a true American hero. And, the moment where he turned, celebrity status or famous, he didn't see it. He didn't feel it. He didn't see it. He just, like he said, he just stayed Richard. And his sense of humor, we were crying and laughing at the same time last night. A lot of tears. But very quick, sharp, smart wit that he has instinctively over the years, given that gift to everyone. From anyone that met him, he took the time to shake their hand on his porch. We were at his house this morning, kind of getting things organized, and I lit up a cigar on his behalf and sat in his chair, and he was there. I felt like he was there with me.
I'm sure he was.
So it's just it's a big loss for us, but we're going to celebrate his life, 112 years. From growing up in the Bastrop area, from picking cotton to joining the military, right? He's given so much, and he worked at the Treasury Department with the state. So it's going to be a big celebration of life on January 12th.
And he'll be right there, I have a feeling, smiling down on everybody. So
Amen. January
12th is, of course, we bring you coverage of Mr. Overton's funeral. Our coverage on Mr. Overton continues. Coming up on KXAN News at noon, the reaction pouring in from the nation's capital.